Hello everyone, I'm Seth with BS Tech Talk, and today I'm going to be demonstrating how to install a water block on a graphics card, and I'll be doing that with my GeForce GTX 780 Ti. I'll be using EK water blocks and a backplate. First thing you will need is obviously your graphics card. Then you need the water block, the backplate, something to clean the thermal goop off of the graphics card. For that I use Arctic Clean. It's a two-part solution, and I use Q-tips. I keep them in a Ziploc bag because there's a lot of them. Okay, so to begin, we'll move everything out of the way, and you will turn the graphics card onto its back, and we're going to start removing screws. Now you're going to want to kind of keep track of where the screws come from so that you can put them back into the stock cooler after you've gotten them all out. So I kind of just lay them out in the order that they are in the card right now. You always have to kind of look for tricky screws. Like on the 780 Ti, there are two that are on the input-output plate. Okay, once you're done, you just kind of have to loosen the card from the stock cooler. You want to do this real slowly because you don't want to rip anything off of the card. It'll just kind of come loose like that. Now you have to be aware that on most coolers there's going to be at least one wire, maybe two, for LEDs and the fan. Okay, once the stock cooler is off, you'll set the card to the side, and now you're going to take all the screws and put them back into the stock cooler so that you'll have them on hand and in the correct position should you ever have to put the stock cooler back onto your card. Okay, now that the last screw is back into the stock cooler, you can set it to the side. And now we are going to clean the thermal paste off of the chip on the graphics card. To do that, we'll need some Q-tips. And we'll start with part one of our Arctic Clean solution. I just apply it directly onto the Q-tip to where it's nice and moist, and then just start to rub it in there. Then take the clean side of the Q-tip and kind of go around the edges of the chip to try and get some of that excess paste off of there, and then just kind of slowly go over the chip. And you'll have to take a few passes at this. Once you get it clean, you'll start to get a mirror-like finish on the GPU. You'll actually be able to see your thumb in it. And from then, you just kind of take your Q-tip that'll have a little bit of the residue from the cleaner, and you'll clean off the memory modules that are around the chip. Then once that's done, I like to take the clean side of the Q-tip and just kind of rub it along the outside to just get off dust and lint and everything. Okay, and that will be the end of using the part 1. Now we take the part 2, and it uses, and this is a surface purifier. It's made of almost pure alcohol. You're just going to put a little on the Q-tip again, get it moist, and then just take a pass over the GPU. And I like to go around the outside with it too. Then take the dry side of the Q-tip and just kind of wipe it down. Alright, and now the GPU is clean. Now we will take our water block. We're going to open it up. And the first thing you're going to do, if you're not doing this, you are doing it wrong. You're going to read the instructions that came with your water block. A lot of these water blocks are very specific in things that they want you to do and ways that they're going to have you apply certain things. Then you're going to take your back plate out, because it comes with a manual as well. And it'll tell you where you will be installing screws so that you know which ones to leave out of the water block initially. The water block comes with a package that has all the screws that you'll need, plus thermal paste. Comes with thermal pads to put on the memory modules. And the block itself. Because we've read the directions, we know that EK actually wants you to put a little bit of thermal paste on the memory modules themselves before you put the pads on there. Just a dot will do on each one of them. This takes a little bit of practice, but you'll get neater as you go through it because there are so many memory modules. Don't be afraid if you get any on the card itself, it's not going to hurt anything. This is a non-conductive and non-capacitive thermal paste. Okay, once you've done that, you'll open this little packet here to get out your thermal pads. The ones for the memory modules are already pre-cut, so you can just peel them off and you don't have to worry about cutting them with scissors to the right size. For the other modules that they say that you should cover with thermal materials, you're going to have to cut those to sides. Now these are going to be the chokes and the voltage regulation modules that are going to need cooling as well. So you'll take the bigger sheet of thermal tape, and you're just going to have to kind of eyeball those and cut them to size. I like to stick them over there so that I know just about how much width I need. And they give you plenty of this material, so you don't have to worry about wasting. So I can put it just like that over, and I know where to cut it off at. Once you get the last piece of thermal tape on there, you'll need to apply some thermal goop to the GPU. Now, EK actually recommends that you do this in a star pattern over the whole chip. Because there's so much of it, I actually do it very thin, since we're already kind of putting a lot on. And now the card is ready for the block. Once you've gotten the card prepared and you're ready to put the block on, you'll need to clean up your work area. I recommend putting the block onto something raised, probably the box that it came in, so that you can have room for the input-output plate to kind of overhang the edge. Now, you're going to pick up the card and you're going to put it over the screw holes on the block itself and just kind of eyeball it and line it up, place it on there, and then just kind of press down. Okay, now you're going to be putting screws in, and EK actually provides plastic washers to go with the screws so that you don't damage the card itself. This would be the part where it's important to note which screws you need to leave out in order to put the backplate onto the card. So getting the backplate out, you can line that up and you can know which ones you're going to be leaving out. It looks like it will be this one, that one, and that one. I recommend starting with the screws that are around the chip itself, and you'll do them in a star pattern, and at first you'll just kind of put them in loosely and then go back and tighten them. Now you don't want to tighten them too much because it is a delicate graphics card under there. So you're just going to tighten them, just where you feel it stop. There is one longer screw in here, and it is for securing the input-output plate to the card. It can be a little tricky. You'll put the screw through the hole, and then you'll turn your card over. And you'll put a plastic washer through to where it contacts where the screw is, and then they give you a little nut that you'll put on here. Now you're going to want to turn your card up and hold the nut in place with your hand while you use your screwdriver to tighten the screw. It's important to check through the directions as you go so that you make sure that you aren't missing any screws. Looks like it is time to move on to the back plate. The back plate, just like the block itself, came with thermal pads to put over where the memory modules are, because the back side of the card gets very hot where they are also. You'll be able to see where these go because the outline of the modules themselves are kind of there. You can see them in the little blank spots around the card. Alright, after all of the memory modules are covered, you will take your back plate and you will line it up just like you did with the block itself, and just place it right over there. Now, in the package for the back plate, it comes with a set of screws as well. They're in the bottom part of the box for the back plate. And it is important to note that they do not screw in with a screwdriver. You use the included Allen wrench. Again, you don't want to over tighten them, you just tighten them until they stop. Just like with the block, there are longer ones included for going through, and then you use a nut on the other side. So we put one through, and you'll want to hold it there. Get the plastic washer and place it on. Then get the nut and get it started on there. Then, holding the nut in place, you'll tighten it out with the Allen wrench. Do this one more time. And you are finished. When you're choosing fittings, it's important to note that you do have to create resistance to make the fluid go through the card. So if you put a fitting here, you have to put a stop on the underside to force the fluid to go through here, and your other fitting will be either on the top or the bottom of this side. We've successfully installed an EK water block and backplate onto the GeForce GTX 780 Ti. The procedure would be about the same for any other graphics cards you wanted to do this with. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, comment if you have something more to say, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you.